Welcome back, friends. Today we are going to study a little bit of biology from evolution. In this video, we will cover up the remaining theories of origin of life. So, earlier we have studied the theories of origin of life. We know there are total 6 theories. Starting from the first one. Theory of special creation, theory of catastrophism, theory of panspermia. We had studied all of these theory in the last video. And now we are remaining with the next 3 theories, that is theory of abiogenesis, theory of biogenesis, and theory of chemical evolution. The 6th theory, theory of chemical evolution. Among these 6 theories, we have already seen the first 3 theories, first one, second one and the third one. That is theory of special creation, theory of catastrophism and theory of panspermia. Today we will cover the remaining 3 theories, that is theory of abiogenesis, theory of biogenesis and theory of chemical evolution. This we had seen in the last video. So, we will cover up the remaining 3 theories. Let us start with theory of abiogenesis. With the name itself, we can understand what the basis of the theory is. The first theory, theory of abiogenesis. If we break this word, A means absence, bio means life, and genesis means generation. This means that origin of life from non-living things. Origin of life from non-living things. This theory believed that life origined from non-living things, basically from mud, straw and grain. Non-living things like mud, straw and grain. So, the theory of abiogenesis believed that life origined from non-living things like mud, straw, grain. First thing that was believed was, near Nile River, there was mud. So, suppose this is our Nile River and there is mud near it. So, it was believed that when UV rays fell on this mud, or we can say sunlight fell on this mud, crocodiles and amphibians arose. However, this is not practically possible, but this is what the theory of abiogenesis said. The theory of abiogenesis believed that near Nile River, there was mud, and when UV rays or sunlight fell on it, crocodiles or amphibians arose. Or came to life. So this was the theory of abiogenesis. One more example given by this theory of abiogenesis was that when human sweaty shirt and wheat grain are kept together for 3 weeks. For 3 weeks, so mice arises. However, this is also not practically possible, but this was what believed by the theory of abiogenesis, that life came from non-living matter, mud, straw, grain, and same way that human sweaty shirt with wheat grain when kept for 3 weeks, mice arises, or near Nile river where there is a mud and when on it UV rays or sunlight fell, then amphibians and crocodile arises. This was the theory of abiogenesis. However, there was a theory of biogenesis, the next theory, which disproved this theory. This theory is also known as theory of spontaneous generation. That means theory of abiogenesis or theory of spontaneous generation. Another name is theory of spontaneous generation. So this theory we have already seen. Now we are moving on to the next theory, that is theory of biogenesis. The fifth theory, theory of biogenesis. By the name itself, we can understand what this theory says. Bio means life and genesis means generation. So this theory believed that life came from pre-existing living things. There was an experiment performed by Louis Pasteur known as the swan neck experiment. So now let us see the swan neck experiment. Pasteur performed the swan neck experiment. Swan neck or S-neck experiment. So this was the experiment, swan neck experiment or S-neck experiment. Basically what this experiment is, he took 2 flasks, one with a broken neck and other is swan neck. This was the S-neck flask and the broken neck flask. Both of these flasks were pre-sterilized. And both of these flasks had broth in it. Here also broth and here also broth. Basically what this broth was, heat killed yeast plus water. Heat killed yeast syrup plus water. Now, when he kept these 2 flasks for a few days, what he observed was, after a few days, when he observed, microbial growth was seen in the broken flask, whereas there was no microbial growth in the S-neck flask. Now, why? He said that when the air entered the S-neck flask, the microbes got trapped in the vents, and so only fresh air reached the broth. As a result, there was no microbial growth seen. But when we talk about the broken neck flask, the air easily reached the broth, and as such, microbial growth was seen. That means here only pure air reached, pure from of air, but here the air easily reached, which was polluted, and so it had microbes too. But here all of the microbes got captured in the vents. That is why only microbial growth was seen in the broken flask, and in the S-neck it was not observed. So this said that pre-existing life. That means life occurs from the pre-existing life, and so he disapproved the theory of spontaneous generation or abiogenesis. So what we can say, microbial growth was only seen in broken flask. This proves that life arises from pre-existing life. Life arises from pre-existing life. How life arises? Life arises from pre-existing life. This disproved theory of abiogenesis. So this was the theory of biogenesis, which said that life came from pre-existing life. There was an experiment performed by Pasteur, the swan neck or S-neck experiment that we have seen. This disapproved the theory of abiogenesis. Now, let us move on to our last theory, that is theory of chemical evolution. It is given by Oparin and Haldane. There was also an experiment conducted by Miller and Urey to prove the theory of chemical evolution, which we will see in our next video. But today we will cover the theory of chemical evolution. Let us see our last theory, that is theory of chemical evolution. So, this theory was given by Oparin and Haldane. Given by Oparin, who was Russian, and Haldane, who was from England. So, theory of chemical evolution was given by Oparin and Haldane. Oparin was from Russia and Haldane was from England. This theory believed that life came from non-living organic compounds, that is, chemogeny took place. They said life came from non-living organic matter, from non-living organic compounds. So they believed that life came from organic compound. Now, they said how this evolution from non-living organic compound took place because the primitive atmosphere of Earth favored this evolution. They said the primitive atmosphere favored this evolution. Primitive atmosphere favored this evolution. Now, what was the atmosphere? It was having high temperature, reducing in nature, and also lightning was there. So these were the characteristics of primitive atmosphere which favored for the chemical evolution. Now, let us see how basically what they said, how evolution took place. According to them, It was in the order carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, phosphorus, sulfur, which gave rise to hydrogen gas and nitrogen gas. Now, so this way they were saying that evolution took. Then after that they said ammonia, carbon dioxide, water vapor. Then after that methane, hydrogen cyanide. Then after that amino acid, simple sugar, nitrogen bases, fatty acids, glycerol, which later on led to the formation of proteins, polysaccharide, nucleic acid, lipids, complex sugars, which later on led to the formation of protobions. Now, there is something special about protobions. They were first true cell-like structure. They were not the first true cell, but they were first true cell-like structure. They were first true cell-like structure, which later on gave the formation of the first true cell. Then later on, microspores and quasar waves were formed. So this was the theory of chemical evolution. This theory was given by Oparin and Haldane. Oparin was Russian and Haldane was from England. They believed that life originated from non-living organic compounds. They said that the primitive atmosphere has favored for this evolution, this chemical evolution. That is, lightning is there, reducing atmosphere is there, high temperature is there. So they said that there is carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, phosphorus, which led to the formation of hydrogen, nitrogen gas, and ammonia, carbon dioxide, and water vapor formed, which later on reacted led to the formation of methane and hydrogen cyanide, which later on reacted led to the formation of amino acids, simple sugar, nitrogen bases, fatty acid, glycerol. Then, which later reacted led to the formation of protein, polysaccharides, nucleic acids, lipids, complex sugar, which further reacted led to the formation of protobions, the first true cell-like structure. They were not the first true cell, but the first true cell-like structure. Then, first true cell was formed. Then later on, microspores and quasar waves were formed. So, this was all the theories of origin of life. There's an experiment which proves the theory of chemical evolution given by Miller and Urey. We will see that in next class. Thank you.